Well, welcome back, my friends. Things are starting to roll here in Greece, and hopefully we'll have a lot more videos coming out more often. Today, I'd like to talk about an issue that perhaps is a little bit sensitive, and more specifically, does God exist or not? And let's say that it does. How do we convince others that it does? This is a very serious question. Now, there are those who believe in the existence of God, and there are those who don't. And I found that an argument from those who do not believe is, well, prove that God exists. What do we mean by proof, though? Do we mean scientific proof? Do we mean proof that's based on observation? You know, we do an experiment, and according to the data and our observations, according to our own senses, we come to a certain conclusion. Do we mean proof by means of thinking, by logic, reason? I found that the first case could be a little bit misleading. Why? Because if God exists beyond our senses, how can we find proof in according to our senses, our sight, our smell, our taste, or our feel, or whatever? I think it's a little bit misleading, because these senses apply to the material world. Okay, so we can't observe something that exists beyond the material world with tools that exist to perceive the material world, and only the material world. The second, thinking through reason, can perhaps lead us to some more stable conclusions. However, I have found that no matter what, those who, whether we believe or not, we are very set in, most people are very set in their beliefs. And so no amount of reasoning, so to speak, can transform their belief either way. Now, we're not saying that one is better than the other. Okay, we do not condemn anyone because of their beliefs. Not just if in the existence or not of God, but in any belief. We are not our beliefs. Our beliefs are simply belong to the worlds of existence, to this material world, to this existence of ours. We are not our beliefs, just like we are not our sex, our color, our nationality, our religion. We are not these things. Now, of course, this, as you can understand, can help us come to the conclusion, how do we convince others? Well, do we have the right to convince others? Who are we to convince others, which means, in a sense, to force our beliefs on someone else? We do not convince anybody of anything, and we do not have the right to do so. In a sense, we take away their freedom of thought, which is a God-given gift to those of us who believe in the existence of God. So do not attempt to convince others. It is not right to do so. What people can do is exchange, talk. Now, it is a very hard thing, you know. They say you don't talk about two things, politics and religion. Why? Because they polarize. These issues polarize. We are very set in our beliefs around these issues. And of course, it can cause more harm than anything else. So we have to be very careful when we talk about these things with our fellow human beings. We have to accept our fellow human beings and their beliefs. We are all on different paths of our journey. Remember, we're all pilgrims of life. And as such, we all walk our own path towards evolving, towards, it's a trip, it's a return trip back to our divine source. This, of course, opens other issues like, okay, well, there are non-believers. So what happens to non-believers? Well, what do you think happens to non-believers? I can tell you now, they don't go to some sort of hell. Now, why do I say that? Again, another parenthesis. Our ideas, what we express, they have to be all congruent with each other. So, and I think we've discussed this, we've talked about this in previous videos. If God is love, how can he condemn a human being in eternal hell? It doesn't make sense. Okay? Now, like I said, our beliefs, everything else related to our existence here, it is not who we are. We are all spirit, soul, egos with capital E. We've been egofied. Hence why we feel individuals, our individuality. Hence why this can lead to trouble when we allow our ego to take over. Now, we are all spirit, soul, egos. We are like the rays of the sun. And if the sun is the divine, we are all always connected as rays to the divine. And we cannot exist independently as rays from the sun, from the divine. As such, we are also, everyone is also connected with each other. Now, of course, this is my belief. No one has to accept it. However, if for those of us who are dedicated to the journey of self-discovery and evolution, we all have the duty, not towards anybody else, but towards ourselves, to research these things in a truthful manner, not being biased by our own belief system or whatever it might be that affects us. We have to be honest towards ourselves and research these things with honesty, with truthfulness, with love and open heart. This is us. This is about us. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Now, back to the existence of not a God. How do we know? How can we find out? I think it's, in all honesty, again, it is a personal matter. Like I said, no one else can show us, at least at the moment. We don't know what science is going to discover as we march on. But at the moment, it is a journey, a very personal journey. And we can only prove the existence of God or not to ourselves through our own experiences. It is a matter of experience. Now, again, this is where being truthful and honest towards ourselves come in. Because if we say, no, God does not exist, this is where faith and belief, people, I think a lot of us have misunderstood this concept of belief and faith. Like, we perceive it as something very dogmatic, very polarizing, very blind. It is not so. It is that your beliefs, our beliefs, create our reality. What does that mean? Wherever our focus is, whatever we believe, that is what comes to us. So if we are open to the idea of God and his existence, then life is going to give us the experiences and the proof that we need. It is the same as with everything else. It is what the law of attraction is based on. Where you focus your attention to, that is what you create, and that is what is returned to you. However, if you say God does not exist and you wipe it out of your mind, what have you just done automatically? Well, you've blocked yourself from the possibility of life giving you the experiences that you need to perceive for yourself if God exists or not. That's why we need to be open to these things. And again, this has nothing to do with ending in some sort of hell or paradise. You know, if we believe in God, we go to paradise, and if we don't believe in God, we end up in hell. No, that is nonsense. I can tell you now, that is nonsense. A lot of people who are non-believers live their life more in accordance to the divine laws than a lot of so-called believers. It's nothing to do with that. Okay, we are simply talking about an idea here. Do we believe in God or not? Does God exist or not? How can we help ourselves find the truth for ourselves? And when I say truth, I don't mean the dogmatic, blind belief that is shoved down our throats. No. I mean, we are researchers of truth. We research honestly, unbiased, with love towards all, to find the truth for ourselves. This is what this journey called life is all about. And accept our fellow human beings. We do not need to shove our truth down anybody else's throat. Okay? Everybody is a free-thinking human being. And we all have the right to our thoughts, our beliefs, no matter what they are, without anybody interfering with that freedom. So, hopefully this video helped put these things into perspective a little bit and help people understand perhaps how we should act on these very sensitive issues. Always remember, love is the guide. Love is the guide. And of course, I don't mean love is a condition, yeah? And love is in the heart. And if you want truth, I can tell you now, sometimes it's better to quieten this because this is guided by the ego and focus on the heart. The heart never lies. All right? So, but of course, again, we've got to be honest, yeah? Towards ourselves. We can't seek the truth from a biased point of view. All right, my friends. Hopefully this helped a little bit. And if anybody cares, for me personally, yes, of course, I believe in the existence of God, of the divine, or whatever you want to call it. And I have based my conclusions on reasoning and, above all, personal experiences. And believe me, I have been through a period of my life that I was a non-believer. I did not believe. However, life with its experiences, my personal experiences, and through reasoning, I have come to the conclusion that is my conclusion, my experiences, that God does exist. In the next few videos, we are going to examine certain aspects of the divine and how they are related to us as human beings. Because remember, we are created in his likeness and image. Well, what does that mean? We have beards and ears and eyes and bodies. Is that who we truly are, or does it mean something else? Until then, my friends, I wish you all the very best in life, the very best of journeys. Until then, live life to the full. Love, light, truth, courage. See you then. Be good.